Good evening, and welcome to the 123rd Saranac Lake High School commencement ceremony. I'm Josh Dan, and I'm honored to be the principal at the Saranac Lake High School. I want to welcome parents, family members, and the friends of class of 2019. First, I want to thank Mr. Matt Walter and the Saranac Lake Civic Center staff for your willingness to host our graduation year after year. Let's give them a round of applause. A shout out to Mrs. Janet Simpkins for loaning us her flowers for tonight's ceremony. Thank you to Mr. Tom Delahan on the piano, Mr. Keith Kogut, and the high school band for being here tonight to entertain us. I want to thank Mr. Vernon James and the district's buildings and grounds crew for their countless hours getting ready for tonight. Last but not least, a very special thanks to Mrs. Diana Schwartz, my secretary, for all that she did for tonight's ceremony, for helping with the program, and organizing the scholarships and diplomas. It takes a lot of work to put this night together, so thank you for everything you do for our school and our students. I do have a few announcements. If we have an emergency and need to evacuate, please use the nearest exit. They are clearly marked. Restrooms are located on the right as you enter the lobby. We have water available in the back on your right. Please turn your cell phones off or to vibrate. And at the end of the ceremony, there is no formal recessional of the graduates, so they remain at their seats so you can meet them up here. After the graduates enter and get to their seats, please remain standing. Enjoy Mr. Drew Benware and the senior choir as they sing the Star-Spangled Banner and the high school alma mater. The words will be projected on the screen, and they're also printed in your program. We'll begin in a few minutes. Enjoy.
stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Circled round by mighty mountains, breathe the balm by healing balm. Mirrored in the flowing river, blessed by nature's soothing call. Santa dear old alma mater, crowned with honor, crowned with love, crowned by all her children, loyal, true to her, all else above.
Good evening. I'm Superintendent of Schools, Diane Fox. It is wonderful that you are able to be here this evening, sharing this experience with our graduates. Although we may all be in the same room for the same purpose, we will not all leave with the same memories. Past experiences guide us to choose where to focus our attention, and that, in turn, affects what we remember. When my daughter was young, our favorite author and illustrator was Barbara Cooney. We would scour bookstores to find a book we didn't already own. Remember when you actually had to go to a bookstore to buy a book? Two we read over and over were Miss Rumphius and Roxaboxen. Miss Rumphius begins as a little girl is speaking with her grandfather and tells him she is going to grow up and travel the world, and then, when she gets old, live by the sea. Her wise grandfather tells her she must do one other thing, something to make the world more beautiful. We travel through her life with her while she fulfills her goals, but struggles to meet her grandfather's. Finally, at the end of her life, she decides to plant lupins. They bring joy to all who see them for generations to come. Roxaboxen tells the story of a made-up world where every child can be him or herself, and there is a place for all. The story tells of the grand adventures these children had and ends with the main character returning to Roxaboxen decades later to discover that the joy was not the place, but in the shared imaginations of the children. Now, I couldn't get through either of these without crying. After a while, Jamie would say to me before we even began, "And Mom, no crying." We shared the experience, read the same books. She loved the pictures and making up lists of things she could do to make the world a better place, and directing the children that they should not be playing with the thorny sticks they used as swords because someone could get hurt. I love the life lessons being taught. Be adventurous. Search for a place to settle where you can be you. And if you can't find it, build it yourself. And do one other thing. something to make the world more beautiful. So tonight, as we share this time together, many different stories will be written. I hope you are able to take a few moments to reflect on past joyous experiences and the people you shared them with, and that whatever you take from tonight's ceremony adds a happy memory to your story. On behalf of the Board of Education and our entire school community, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Saranac Lake Central School District's 123rd High School Commencement, and to introduce you to the Saranac Lake Central School District's Class of 2019. I have the pleasure of introducing tonight's guest speaker. Chris Colmer lives here in Saranac Lake with his wife Lisa and 2 children, Jake and Cody. For the past 19 years, he has had the pleasure of teaching the students of Saranac Lake in his social studies classroom. Chris has also been the outdoor club advisor and has coached modified, junior varsity, and varsity lacrosse. Outside of school, Chris enjoys taking Jake and Cody. It's a long list. I'm going to try to do it in one breath. Skiing, hiking, camping, biking, hunting, canoeing, fishing, boating, rock climbing, splunking, and anything else that gets them outdoors. I was curious, and thought you might be too, why the senior class chose him to be their speaker. So I went to the source, the students, and asked that pressing question, why Mr. Colmer? They seemed stunned that I would have to ask such a silly question. And suddenly my pen seemed to be jotting notes in slow motion as the reasons poured in from all around me. He knows the class really well. He goes out of his way to check in even after you leave his class. He includes every student in the lesson. He personalizes his lessons. He makes sure everyone participates. In a lull, while I was still writing frantically, a student summed it up in one statement. Mr. Colmer is the kind of person who, when he asks you how you are doing, he really wants to know. It is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Colmer to the podium to address our graduating class.
Thank you, Mrs. Fox. I apologize for not knowing how to introduce this exceptional group of young adults. Coincidentally, I never had a chance to refuse the opportunity. Maggie Carpenter informed me that I would be giving the commencement address. And who am I to say no to Maggie? Not even a plow truck could stop her. Hey, Colmer, will you speak for us at graduation? It could have been, hey, Colmer, you will speak for us at graduation. There were no formalities, a drive-by voluntelling. So here I am trying to find the proper words to express just how remarkable these kids are. After all, they won the Pumpkin Bowl 3 years in a row. But it may have been 4, if not a questionable call by Mr. Dan. You won the volleyball sectional championship for the first time in Saranac Lake's history. And then you did it again the following year. You earned countless awards for artwork. You survived Mr. Drew's classes. You won track and field championships. You earned perfect scores at Allstate. You garnered countless photography awards. We have gifted musicians, thespians, engineers, mechanics, photographers, arborists, cooks, athletes, scholars, artists. Consequently, this address became a big deal. A responsibility to leave you with inspiring words to guide you through life's good times and the inevitable difficult times. Good times are easy. You kids understand carpe diem. You seize the day in Sunken Meadow. But what about those unavoidable obstacles you encounter? Like that flagpole that got in your way that day. Maybe you seized the wrong day. As I pondered this new weight upon my shoulders, I did some serious reflection. A fair amount of research, private investigating. No foreign agencies were used while gathering data. But Mrs. Francis certainly helped. Thank you. Continuing this research, I came across some impressive addressees: Bill Nye, Churchill, Jim Carrey, Ellen DeGeneres, and me. I've been in high school for 20 years. So why was I told to prepare this address? Retribution. You devised one last chance to torture me. As a result, I searched for something to leave you with, advice to guide you. Clearly, as an old man, I should have something to offer. Although most of you inform me that the white beard makes me appear wise and not old. Although that only added pressure to find the perfect words. As your teacher, I allegedly taught you. However, you taught me far more. I became your student. You taught me to live well, to choose to live well. After all, it is a choice. Sometimes living well means taking care of others. Thank you to the 6 emergency personnel for your volunteerism, reminding us of man's best qualities. We should all strive to possess these qualities. Thank you to the 2 young men for volunteering to serve our country. I learned many of you exhibit humanity's best qualities. I witnessed it while watching you teach a colleague how to ride a bicycle, or when you gave up your seats on the Whiteface bus. I witnessed it when Mr. Farmer was at your softball game. Ladies, you may not know this, that was the first time Mr. Farmer was able to drive his vehicle, and he chose to drive to your game. While we're thinking of Mr. Farmer, he asked me to confiscate your phones and take those caps off. You also taught me that 18 hours of detention is worth one good day at Whiteface. I learned swearing is acceptable when you see a man with really hairy legs. And I learned who really runs the Civic Center. I have come to understand that some of you are changing the world. Sustainability projects, from homes to plastics to recycling ideas. You've established a composting station. Thank you. However, every one of you has a profound ability and responsibility to change one person's world. Be that light. Maybe reading a bedtime story to your child will be that opportunity. Yes, you taught me a lot. You taught me the true nature of irony, claiming to hate school, then confessing to looking forward to college. I learned that when 2 innocent Halloween costumes are put together, they become something else completely. I learned that when the world lacks a certain sparkle, your artistic and musical talents can brighten the day. Moreover, you taught me truth hurts. You've also taught me about success. Mostly, you taught me there is no universal definition of success. Beating your rival on senior day. Saranac was the #1 team in the league until they played you. That was a success. Maybe the success was during the last few minutes of a playoff defeat, when you found yourselves confronted with a season-ending loss. Success was found in the shared experience, the hugs and the tears. Success means overcoming your fear of stage fright, earning a role in a production, working or fiddler, Annie get your gun, you're in town. Amazing successes. At times, success means thinking your way out of a quagmire on a roof. It could be you met success in Mrs. Pierre's room. Success does not mean never failing or never falling, like the time you fell over a hurdle in front of everybody in gym. After all, in spite of all these accolades, you're still the class that lost to the juniors in a tug of war. Some of you have struggled to get over that. That's all right. Life will be more challenging than that. You will struggle. Life will get hard in unpredictable ways. Yes, life has a way of testing us. Regents exams, construction, playlist Fridays. Spelling can be a challenge for some of us. Falling on your faces on the rope ladders. Some of you are still struggling to locate a high-altitude balloon. You have faced difficulties, putting acid into an eco column, being left in a bathroom in Peru, having the cheese touch, losing foosballs in vents, being sent to the dean by your mother, chasing that elusive D1 men's volleyball scholarship. Boom. Adversity was losing to Seton on an improbable left-footed crossing shot that somehow defied logic and found the back of the net. Success is knowing you did everything you could to win that game. Sometimes life works out that way. Sometimes getting to school was a struggle, all the speed bumps and the geese. As freshmen, some of you hid under your desks. You survived your freshman year bangs. But you overcame all of these struggles. In fact, you've thrived. Look at you now. Life will test you. Despite these intermittent failures, you found success in the classroom, gym, stage, ice, court, field, LMC, AEC. Success may mean surviving Shakespeare, earning honor roll status, all 4 quarters, all 4 years, or being a 3-sport athlete for 4 years, or restoring a 1941 fire truck. Success also means not missing a single day in 4 years of high school. Success is measured in scholarships and honors, the music, art, and photography awards you've earned. You built a lean-to in the high peaks. You built tiny houses and a giant chicken coop. Success is measured in that time you spoke up on behalf of your teammates, or the time you wished you had. If it left a lasting impression on you, consider yourself successful for learning vital life lessons. And you never lose when you learn. Can success be measured in miles? As long as you don't run the wrong route at the Salmon River Mud Run. Gentlemen from Modified Lacrosse, thank you. You met success each day you survived your 4-mile run. Some of you may have been frustrated with me back then. I'm glad we no longer have any disagreements. The times we spent together are some of my most cherished memories. You traveled and studied internationally. You managed to thrive in high school in spite of being afflicted with senioritis as freshmen. You survived high school while your siblings were there. Success also means never confusing a single defeat with a final defeat. Remember that Salmon River Mud Run? That small defeat led to a state championship. Ladies, success may mean finding a job that has tall bathroom stalls. Some of you have made lifelong friends and memories. Nevertheless, there will be no final song tonight like your sophomore year dance. We Were Young will not play. You will not stand in a circle holding hands, swaying to the tune again. But I hope that song will always make you want to let go a little bit and be okay with yourself, because you are all amazing. Be proud of who you are and where you're from. We are all proud of you. I am humbled and honored to speak on your behalf tonight. It has been a distinct pleasure and a distinct honor to work alongside you. I will miss all of you next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Comer, for your words of wisdom and insight. It is much appreciated. It is time to introduce the salutatorian of the class of 2019. She is the daughter of Laura and James Carpenter. Please help me welcome to the podium, Maggie Carpenter.
I have 45 minutes for this thing, right? Welcome, everyone. On behalf of the class of 2019, I would just like to start out by saying thank you to all the parents, families, and teachers for coming out tonight. You somehow managed to get us all into these seats one way or another. It is evident today that this class sitting in front of you could not be here without your endless love, sacrifice, and support. And to the class of 2019, congratulations. It doesn't feel real that we have made it this far. I remember in 9th grade when Mrs. Peer told us to enjoy every moment of high school, because before you know it, you will blink and 4 years will flash before your eyes. And we were like, no way. I thought I had an idea of what to expect from typical high school coming-of-age movies and advice from my friends, but I was far off. I mean, I shared the high school with my dad this past year. Freshman me would have never agreed to that. One thing freshman me did do right was starting a little project called 1 Second Every Day. If you haven't heard of it, it's an app on your phone, which I paid a whole $1.99 for, and now it happens to be free. Every single day for a whole year, I took a 1-second video. At the end of the year, I compile all these little clips together to create a 6-minute video of my life. I've been doing it since the beginning of 2016. While I was thinking back on high school to write this speech, my memories melded together. I never realized how right Mrs. Peer was. Life goes as fast as a blink. You don't get to pick what you remember and what you don't. Watching my video made me so nostalgic. Many of my clips were from prom, homecoming tug of war, asbestos, unified games, sledding, team dinners, knockerball, Stewart's ice cream, the fall play, summer beach days. One was even a John Brown video from Mr. Thill's class. By starting this video project, I got to ask myself every single day, what one moment do I want to remember forever? And it wasn't easy. Some days I couldn't decide between 10 moments. Other days, I would completely forget to even take a video at all. My cat made a lot of appearances on those days. But this concept gave me motivation. It gave me the motivation to do something every single day that made that day different from all the rest. As we all settle into the steady routines of the next steps of our lives, whether that's college, a new job, the military, or trade school, I encourage you to do something a little different every single day that is worth remembering. I also learned the importance of letting go. When I was starting high school, I had a hard time handling a grade I thought was bad. I would stress over why I got it wrong and how I could get those points back. But when I looked at it through this video project, I learned that what might be extremely upsetting one day is insignificant when you compare it to the rest of the year. One day out of 365 is only 0.03% of your year, let alone your lifetime. Remember when we had those terrible Chromebooks at the beginning of the year? Bad grades, awkward encounters with crushes, missing a shot in a game, or a malfunctioning Chromeboy isn't what matters in the long run. It's the lessons learned from those so-called setbacks that stay with us. So be kind to yourself. Forgive yourself for messing up and get back up. Take a day with your friends, go on a hike, buy yourself some ice cream because you deserve it, even if you can no longer get those ice cream sandwiches from the cafeteria. I've learned to appreciate the little moments too. While rewatching my 1 second everyday video, I noticed 1 second I had completely forgotten about. It was a simple video of a little girl on a school bus from 2017. When I got on the bus that day, the little girl was asking people to sit with her. The person in front of me had turned her down, so I decided to take a seat. Throughout the entire 30-minute bus ride, she told me elaborate stories of dragons and fairies and elves. She had the biggest imagination. I would have never remembered that moment if it hadn't been for my 1 second everyday video. It was a tiny moment that I'd forgotten that was nearly insignificant to my life, but because I decided to sit with her, it made her day. A moment for you might feel like a lifetime for others. We need to remember that everything we do has a bigger impact than we can imagine. Be kind to your family, friends, peers, and even strangers. Your 1 second of kindness can turn around someone's whole day. Although I don't expect anyone to actually go out and get this app, I swear it's not a paid endorsement, I do hope you take away something from my experience with it. Whether it's doing something worth remembering every day, or forgiving yourself for mistakes, or being kind whether it's noticed or not, because every second counts. Thank you. And before I go, I want to ask if everyone would be in my 1 second video today. So on the count of 3, you guys have to make noise or something. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
The valedictorian is the son of Laura Antonelli and Keith Freeman. Please put your hands together and welcome Bruno Freeman.
Well, I'll say this is the first time I'm now facing the entire audience, so not getting any less nervous, but we're going to give it our best shot. I am an aspiring computer scientist who, like most of you, lives in an area so remote that good cell service can be as scarce in some places as lakes and rivers are common. But most of you here tonight are well acquainted with the nature that surrounds us. But due to my particular interests, there exists a reoccurring juxtaposition in my life. After hiking a local mountain, I may come home and work on a programming project. I'll read about the latest tech advances while camping on an island in the Saranac Lake chain. I may have to take a break from creating a web page to lock up my vacationing neighbor's goats and ducks for the night so they are protected from the coyotes, bears, and bobcats that dwell in the forest that is our backyard. My FaceTime with a man named Lester last summer is another example of how I straddle two seemingly opposite worlds in this 6 million acre park we call home. Spotting his cabin on Google Earth is one of Lester's only connections to technology. He lives at the end of a bumpy dirt road deep in the woods where power lines don't reach. One consequence of this is that he heats his cabin entirely by wood during the bitter Adirondack winters when, as you know, it can get fairly chilly. For years, Lester felled trees and split logs by hand to heat his cabin. However, last year Lester opted for delivery of pre-cut wood. In receiving all of his wood for the entire winter at once, Lester found that the job of stacking it himself would be too much. And while I didn't know him very well at that point, I agreed to help with the task. When I arrived the first day, there was a lot of wood. It was as if I was witnessing the aftermath of a tidal wave comprised not of water, but of foot-long chunks of maple. Lester greeted me from the cabin porch, and I quickly got to business. However, after a few minutes, Lester appeared right beside me, insisting on doing some of the work himself. To my surprise, I shared many words with this man whom I had previously shared few, and with each pile of wood we stacked, I got to know him a little better. To me, a tech enthusiast, it was impossible to imagine living my life like Lester. However, as our conversations evolved, Lester made me appreciate that there can be joy in a pixelless life. While Lester is almost completely disconnected from technology, he is thoroughly immersed in his natural environment and has incredible appreciation for the plants and animals that are his closest daily companions. After several visits, the last mound of wood that had been choking the grassy path leading to Lester's cabin had been neatly stacked onto the last pallet in his yard, and the job was done. My time with Lester made me realize an important lesson. Throughout your life, you will interact with people who live quite different lives than you, have quite different viewpoints than you, harbor quite different tastes than you, and act in quite different ways than you. Perhaps those differences will be apparent right away, or perhaps those differences lie in a piece of a person you haven't quite discovered yet. In either case, those differences are there. In fact, most everyone you meet will fall into this category to a varying extent. It can range from a close friend who agrees with you almost all the time to a person whose life is different from you on multiple fundamental levels. But why is it important to realize this? It is natural to be drawn to people with whom you share much. It simply makes sense. You will probably have the most to talk about and do with these people. However, it will serve you well to learn to interact with those outside of your normal circles as well. This is for a few reasons. First, you may not have a choice in the matter. Sometimes your professional life will require it. Second, it is good to have your viewpoints and conceptions challenged once in a while. It will force you to think about why you do what you do. And third, by interacting with people who are different from you, you will remind yourself of what makes you special. By learning to appreciate the signature characteristics of others, you will come to more easily identify and appreciate your own. It is important to realize that the ideas, habits, thoughts, hobbies, ideologies, passions, preferences, and tendencies that make a person an individual can only really be changed by that person. Exposing yourself to how others live will never detract from your own life approach. A much more likely result is acquiring more life experience, developing empathy for others, or even gaining inspiration applicable to your own life. I didn't swear off technology after last summer. I still plan on attending school for an education on that very topic. Getting to know my neighbor who lives in the same environment but with a very different lifestyle did not detract from my aspirations as a computer scientist, but served as another life experience to have under my belt, an experience that also allowed me to appreciate my home a little more. In the future, as you pursue your own goals for your own reasons, keep an open mind to the other people with who you share this world, for you may find lessons in unexpected places or in doing unexpected things, like stacking wood one summer deep in the woods. Thank you, teachers, administrators, fellow students, friends, and family, for giving me your attention on this very special occasion. I wish all of my peers the best of luck in the future as they set off to experience the many wonderful things this world has to offer. Once again, thank you, and good luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you, Maggie and Bruno. We'll miss your leadership, drive, and kindness. At this time, we have a special musical tribute from the senior choir members.
And I thank you for the moments when I learned how to stand on my own. And I'm grateful for the memories of the life and the love I have known. And I want you to know not everything is changing. There's a place deep in my heart that will stay with you for now and always. deep in my heart that will say. So when I see the open sky, I will choose to fly. I am still your dream
Good evening. I'm Rick Retrosi and currently serving as the Board of Education President. I want you to know I am positively thrilled to be here tonight to help celebrate this momentous occasion. It's my honor to be here tonight on behalf of the Board of Education and the greater Saranac Lake community to extend our heartfelt thanks to the many people who have contributed so generously to the scholarships we are about to award tonight. Through this selfless giving, it is possible for many of our graduating students to more easily begin the next phase of their educational careers and their lives. At this time, I invite Jeremy Evans, the Board of Education Vice President, to join me here at the podium. And I ask the recipients to please stand when their name is announced. Some of these awards have more than one recipient, so please hold your applause until all the students are announced for each award. We will start with the 2019 Alumni Community Scholarship Awards. I'll read the first set of names, and then you go to the next, okay? Grant Eckert. Terrence Fogarty II. Elizabeth White.
The Academic Excellence Scholarships. Margaret Carpenter, Julia Chapin, Bruno Freeman, and Lauren Roberts.
The American Legion Post 447 Chuck Simpson Scholarship.
Jenna Morgan.
The Helen R. Arnold Memorial Scholarship.
Kylie Clark.
The Ralph R. Arnold Memorial Scholarship.
Karina Garcia, Elijah Land.
The Fred C. Baker Memorial Scholarship.
Mary Keating.
Carl Bevilacqua Memorial Scholarship.
Margaret Carpenter.
Bionique Testing Laboratories Scholarship.
Jenna Morgan.
The Bloomingdale School Awards.
Zachary Bauman, Samuel Branch, Colton Clement, Daniel Foley, Paige Foley, Daniel Gagne, Abigail Levitt, Austin Rael, Robert Stevenson, Dylan Strack, Ryan White.
You're suppose that's 2012. The Max Calderon 2012 Memorial Scholarship.
Owen Yando.
Timothy J. Karras Memorial Scholarship.
Hannah Bradley.
Champlain National Bank.
Marshall Moore.
That's Van Zyl. The Class of 2019 Awards.
Alexandra Finn, Michaela Hunt, Stephen Hike, Sophia Kirkby, Kelsey McCarthy, Brooke Tuttle, Jessica Van Zyl, and Zoe White.
The D.O.B. Coburn Educational Foundation Scholarships.
Jacob Alberga, Samuel Branch, Margaret Carpenter, Adina Sekunjanen, Julia Chapin, Grace Clark, Kylie Clark, Colton Clement, Anna Ellithorpe, Cassidy Everett, Riley Fisher, Brooks Fletcher, Bruno Freeman, Karina Garcia, Danielle Gagne, Adam Hesseltine, Mary Keating, Holly Kurtz, Elijah Land, Joseph Larrabee, Jenna Morgan, Mistra Newton, Quinlan Peer, Lauren Roberts, Faith Rotop, and Erica Swirsky.
The Community Theater Players Chester B. McKirahan Scholarships.
Hannah Bradley and Mary Keating.
Edwina DeMatos Cormier, Class of 1959.
Kylie Clark, Sarah Dalton, and Mistra Newton.
The Crary Education Fund Awards.
Angela Beanie, Hannah Bradley, Samuel Branch, Adina Sekunjanen, Grace Clark, Joseph Larrabee, Abigail Levitt, Madison Reardon, Faith Rotop, and Sarah Sweet.
The Bobby Dan Performance Scholarship.
Joseph Larrabee.
The Clarence R. Dupree Jr. Memorial Scholarship.
Hannah Bradley.
That's all for us.
Elks Lodge 1508 Local Scholarship.
Maggie Carpenter.
Charlotte Gefton Memorial Scholarship.
Sarah Dalton.
Robert Griffin Memorial Scholarship.
Anna Ellithorpe.
Eleanor Hayes Scholarship.
Adam Heseltine.
Jody Higginbotham Memorial Scholarship, Mountaineers Rugby Football Club.
Paige Foley.
Richard and Julian Johnson Memorial Awards.
Julia Chapin and Colton Clements.
Knights of Columbus, Council 7803, Bloomingdale Gabriels, Father Peter A. Ward Scholarship.
Danielle Gagne.
Lake Placid Education Foundation.
Cassidy Everett.
Howard V. Littell Scholarships.
Grace Clark, Quinlan Peer, and Lauren Roberts.
The Walter E. Little Memorial Scholarship.
Marissa Gibbs.
Catherine C. Lynch Memorial Scholarship.
Bruno Freeman and Erica Swirsky.
Elizabeth Marconi Memorial Award.
Adina Sekunjanen.
Eileen Stewart McCaslin Scholarship.
Danielle Gagne.
Casey S. McHugh 08 Memorial Scholarship.
Riley Fisher.
Brian Muldowney Memorial Scholarship Awards.
Maggie Carpenter and Quinlan Peer.
Michael A. Nason Memorial Scholarship.
Riley Fisher.
William P. O'Neill Memorial Awards.
Rylan Christie, Jacob Shipman, and Robert Wensky.
The Winifred H. Alcott Endowed Scholarships.
Raymond Amel, Brianna Bondrew, and Abigail Levitt.
William H. Packer Memorial Scholarship.
Mary Keating.
Petrova Elementary Scholarship Awards.
Meester Newton and Brooke Tuttle.
John Raymond Memorial Scholarship.
Julia Chapin.
Bob Rice Memorial Scholarships.
Jacob Alberga, Samuel Branch, Anna Ellithorpe, and Karina Garcia.
Saranac Lake Kiwanis Club Caring for Kids Annual Scholarship.
Bruno Freeman and Erica Swirsky.
Saranac Lake Middle School Faculty and Staff Awards.
Justin Burke, Jasmine Fazette, and Paige Foley.
The Saranac Lake Moose Lodge, number 457 scholarships.
Colton Clement, Paige Foley.
The Saranac Lake Pee Wee Hockey Association Memorial Scholarships.
Jillian Duffy and Quinn Peer.
The Saranac Lake Police Department William Wallace Scholarship.
Madison Reardon.
Saranac Lake Rotary Community Service Scholarship Awards.
Cassidy Everett and Karina Garcia.
Saranac Lake Teachers Association Scholarships.
Anderson Gray, Holly Kurtz.
The Saranac Lake Voluntary Health Association Foundation Scholarships.
Adina Sekunjanen, Julia Chapin, Grace Clark, Kylie Clark, Brooks Fletcher, Danielle Gagne, Jenna Morgan, and Mishra Newton.
The Saranac Lake Women's Softball Scholarship.
Riley Fisher.
Saranac Lake Young Arts Association Timothy B. Gore Memorial Scholarships.
Mary Keating, Joseph Larrabee.
Ted Stratford Memorial Scholarship Award.
Jacob Alberga.
The Larry Stringer Memorial Scholarships.
Kiana Carter and Owen Yando.
Upper Saranac Lake Association Scholarship.
Raymond Amel.
The Veterans Memorial Association Scholarships.
Marshall Moore, Mishra Newton, and Faith Rotop.
The Ellsworth Wilcox Memorial Scholarships.
Danielle Gagne, Quinn Peer.
The Women's Civic Chamber Award.
Mishra Newton.
The Women's College Scholarship Club.
Jacob Alberga, Sam Branch, Anna Ellithorpe, Mary Keating, Mishra Newton, and Erica Swirsky.
The Mary Mullen Wood, Leona Anderson Memorial Scholarship Award.
Brooks Fletcher.
We have 3 new scholarships this year, and we thank the donors who have made this possible. The first is the Charles B. Decker Scholarship. Charlie Decker graduated from Saranac Lake Central High School after an outstanding athletic career, during which time he was also a sports reporter and photographer for the Adirondack Daily Enterprise. He attended Cornell University and the University of Missouri of Journalism, leaving to edit the award-winning Olympic Digest, a daily account of the 1980 Winter Olympics. He had a strong personal commitment to the profession of newspaper journalism and the public's right to know. He believed fervently in the value of and the necessity for a free press staffed by enthusiastic, informed writers. Newspaper work, outdoor sports, and conservation occupied him, and he gave them his best. This year's award is presented to a graduating senior that will be pursuing a degree in electronic journalism.
Quinn Peer.
Next is the Saranac Lake Area Chamber of Commerce's Energizing Entrepreneurs Award. The Saranac Lake Area Chamber of Commerce partnered with St. Joe's to grant a graduating senior this award. The student will be studying business, possess a strong entrepreneurial spirit, and have an interest in starting their own business, vocation, or trade. The recipient will also be civically minded and have an inclination to remain in the area. As an incentive to keep our students local, Paul Smith College has also partnered with the Chamber to offer an award match. We thank St. Joe's and Paul Smith College for their generosity and dedication to supporting our students.
This year's winner is Sam Branch.
And our last new scholarship is the Zonta Club of the Adirondacks. The Zonta Club of the Adirondacks was chartered in the summer of 2017. It is part of a 100-year-old international service and advocacy organization whose mission is to advance the status of women and girls locally and around the world. The Zonta Club of the Adirondacks Young Women in Public Affairs Scholarship is given to recognize commitment to volunteer leadership, achievements, and dedication to empowering women worldwide through service and advocacy. The winner of this scholarship has been nominated to win the scholarship award at the district level later this month. The District 2 award winner is then eligible for consideration as one of the 10 Zonta International Scholarship winners from across the globe.
This year's winner, Maggie Carpenter.
Congratulations to all of our scholarship winners here in the class of 2019.
Well, this is it. Before I get started, I want to thank all the parents, relatives, caregivers, and teachers who have helped raise you to become young adults you are today. You are truly a great group. Whether it's good or bad, I've known most of you since you were in first grade. As you're working hard in Mrs. Newman's, Mr. Wilson's, Mrs. Guglielmi's, and Mrs. Calarusso's classes, I was down the hallway in my office trying to figure out what I was doing and who in their right mind approved me to be the Petrova Elementary principal. 12 years later, I'm still trying to figure that out. As I prepare my speech every year, can you hear me? I really try to tailor my message, my suggestions, and my reflections about you. So I want to highlight 3 things that you have taught me. Number 1, support. I've never had a class support each other like your class. You are close, devoted, thoughtful, loyal. Many of you have different beliefs, different backgrounds, different friend groups within your class, but I've witnessed many examples of you helping each other. This support I'm referring to isn't a recent thing. It's you, and it's noticed. Members of your class initiated and supported the first ever unified basketball team. Unified sports are creating a new world of inclusion and community where every single person is accepted and welcomed. regardless of ability. This year, when the unified team took the floor against Sable Valley in front of the whole school, it was one of the best moments I've ever had as a principal. It was priceless. So please remember, you can't accomplish your dreams and goals alone. You've modeled for us to keep asking for help and lend a hand when needed. Number 2, learn from your mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Nobody has all the answers. Life is hard and will definitely be difficult at times. Paths often don't go the way you want them to go, so you'll need to press on. Over the last 4 years, you've grown so much, whether it be academically, athletically, musically, artistically, and socially. You have shown that you can learn from your mistakes, rise above, and grow. When you are uncomfortable, you are learning, and there's so much more to learn. Number 3, there is always a way. Your class is energetic, persistent, and relentless. You are the why class, which is sometimes viewed as annoying, but I see it as a strength. You ask appropriate and meaningful questions. When you don't get the answer or get the answer you're looking for, take a deep breath, seek more information, and ask more questions. You don't give up on what you want to achieve, and you use your rejections to go back to the drawing board to refine the process and try again. These are a few examples why we're going to miss you next year. Volleyball games on the court and in the stands. The dominance of the cross-country team. The wonderful production of You're in Town. All our volunteer firefighters. The girls lacrosse team with no subs. Key Club Big Buddies. The massive numbers on the track teams, chorus, and in our band, and so much more. Many of you know my background and my story, so I will not bore you with that. Needless to say, most of you are in way better shape than I was when I was sitting where you are. You also know that I'm competitive, and I hate to lose. It is my attitude that has guided me to where I am today. As Earl Nightingale said, we become what we think about. You need to see yourself doing it and believe you can actually do it. Ever wonder why some people do better in life than others? It's about your attitude. Take a second or two and think about people in your life who are doing an amazing job or are getting amazing results. They probably have a good attitude. Your attitude toward yourself will determine your attitude towards others. If you say you can't do something, you probably won't do it. If you don't like what's going on in your life, change your attitude. Dream big and work hard. Here are my keys to success. Show up and be on time. Get off your phone and enjoy the moment. Be careful and thoughtful when you post anything on the internet. Make your parents happy, stay focused, stay committed, and make sure you visit your grandparents. I'm very happy for you and want the best for all of you. It has been an amazing ride, and I can't believe it's over. You've all made us in this room proud, and I'm really going to miss you. Good luck, work hard, have fun, be safe, and please come back and visit. This isn't goodbye, it's see you later. Congrats. Yup! By the power vested in me on behalf of the New York State Department of Education, the Superintendent of Schools, and the Saranac Lake Central School Board of Education, I hereby proclaim that the following students have completed the course of study prescribed for graduation from the Saranac Lake High School and therefore entitled to this testimonial presented on this 28th day of June 2019. I ask that Superintendent of Schools, Mrs. Diane Fox, and the Saranac Lake Central School Board members please come forward to assist with the presentation of the diplomas. Our senior class advisors, Mrs. Kelsey Francis and Mrs. Kathy Latour, will announce our graduates. I invite the first row of graduates to please stand.
Bruno Antonelli Freeman. Margaret Madeline Carpenter. Julia Paul Chapin. Sarah Margaret Dalton. Anna Noelle Ellithorpe. Cassidy Jean Everett. Marissa Ann Gibbs. Mary Catherine Keating. Erica Ann Swirsky. Jacob Christopher Alberga. Raymond Isidore Patrick Amel. Brianna Victoria Bandrew. Zachary Philip Bauman. Angel Lynn Beanie. Stephen Matthew Bierce. Anastasia Savannah Blanchard. Hannah Marie Bradley. Samuel Jacob Branch. Justin Aaron Burke. Xavier P. Bino. Kiana Anne Marie Carter. Adina Sekunjanen.
Rylan Ellis Christie. Grace Ann Clark. Kylie Brooke Clark. Colton Thomas Clement. Faith Elizabeth DeFuria. Jillian Claire Duffy. Grant Ryder Eckert.
Yep!
Jasmine Crystal Fizette. Alexandra Paige Finn. Riley May Fisher. Brooks Andrew Fletcher. Terrence Sullivan Fogarty II. Daniel Philip Foley. Paige Marie Foley. Elizabeth Harriet Francisco. Karina Julani Garcia. Zachary James Glad. Danielle Elizabeth Gagne. Anderson Matthew Gray. James Christopher Graziano. Adam Edward Heseltine. Jonathan Wallace Hewitt.
Leah Catherine Hill. William Henry Homeland. Dawson Arthur Huff. Michaela Rose Hunt. Caitlin Ann Hurst. Stephen Russell Hike. Erin Catherine Kidder. Sophia Anastasia Kirkby. Holly Lynn LaPlante Kurtz. Elijah Richard Land. Joseph Dwayne Larrabee. Abigail Rose Levitt. Jackson Ian Leo. Kelsey Elizabeth McCarthy. William Holmes McClure. Heaton Allen McCormick. Brett Christopher Melville. Ryan Andrew Meyer. Alexandra Renee Mitchell. Christian John Monty. Marshall Grant Moore.
Jenna Marie Morgan. Mistra Abebe Newton. Joel Christopher Otley Jr. Sean Tyler Otley. Quinlan Gardner Pierre. Madison Page Reardon. Austin William Rayo. Lauren Martial Roberts. Faith Phyllis Rotop. Jacob Paul Shipman. Edmund John Sovey. Jacob Ian Statlander. Robert Raymond Stevenson. Dylan Julius Strack. Sarah Hope Sweet. Brooke Ann Tuttle. Jessica Lynn Van Zyl. Robert Lee Wensky. Elizabeth Esther White. Ryan J. White. Zoe Olivia Smith White. Owen Gerald Yando.
At this time, I'd like to recognize the faculty and staff that are here tonight. I would like to have them stand and be recognized. We have a fantastic staff at the Saranac Lake Central School District, and seeing another class graduate is special for them. Please stand. At this time, I'd like to thank Mrs. Sue Rice and Mr. Chris Mimas for all their time and effort creating tonight's slideshow. So without further ado, here's our 2019 slideshow.
to the beach, but we gotta leave at 9, cause I gotta get my sleep. You could be the early bird, I'ma give that worm. Get with me, I'll take you around the world. Cause if it's gold, I'll throw it away. You're worth more than every single chain. Walk with a limp, it just means I'm cool. Next trip I take is just me and you. You know where I go when we're dancing. Handshakes in the Hamptons and getting drunk in the mansions with you. And you look so classic. Come through with that magic. You know that I'm about to smash it, it's true.
LeBeau, you said you're living up north, but when you're coming to the
It's empty in the valley of your heart. The sun, it rises slowly as you walk away from all the fears and all the faults you've left behind. The harvest left no food for you to eat. You cannibal, you meat eater, you see. But I have seen the same, I know the shame in your defeat. But I will hold on hope, and I won't let you choke on the noose around your neck. And I'll find strength in pain, and I will change my ways. I'll know my name as it's cold again. Other things to fill my time. You take what is yours and I'll take mine. Now let me at the truth which will refresh my broken mind. So tie me to a post and block my ears. I can see where those orphans through my tears, and know my call despite my faults and despite my growing fears. But I
single breath for granted. God forbid love ever leave you empty-handed. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. When you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you never fear those mountains in the distance. Never settle for the path of least resistance. Living might mean taking chances, but they're worth taking. Loving might be a mistake, but it's worth making. Don't let some helping heart leave you bitter. When you come close to selling out,
my soul again. Just a tow rag on the run. How did I get here? What have I done? When will all my hopes arise? How will I know him when I look in my Father's eyes? My Father's eyes. When I look in my Father's eyes. My Father's eyes. Then the light begins to shine. I hear those ancient lullabies. And as I watch the seedling grow, feel my heart start to overflow. Where do I find the words to say? How do I teach him? What do we play? Bit by bit, I've realized that's when I need them. That's when I need my Father's eyes. My Father's eyes. That's when I need my Father's eyes. My Father's eyes.
Just in time. I'd like to thank Mr. Eric Wilson and Good Guy Productions for all what they do to make tonight happen. Let's give them a round of applause. Okay, here we go. On behalf of the Saranac Lake Central School District, the faculty and staff at the Saranac Lake High School, and your families, congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Saranac Lake High School congratulating class of 2019. Thank you for coming tonight. Have a nice night.